Hello, this is Philip from Marine Magnetics, and in this video, I will walk you through the functionality of the survey importer in Bob, Marine Magnetics Magnetic Survey Acquisition and Processing software. The data importer allows the user to import data for visualization and processing that was not collected in real time using Bob's acquisition workflow. Some situations where this can occur include data collected by a magnetometer towed by an AUV, such as the Explorer or Synapse, or data collected by a drone like GEM's Drone Mag. The first thing we will need to do is select the system that was used to collect the data. In this example, we use the Marine Magnetics Explorer magnetometer towed behind an AUV. We will need to enter a survey name, and optionally, we can enter a location, surveyor, and any notes. For this example, we will enter a survey name and then click Import Readings. We are now in the Select Data tab of the Import Assistant. First, we will browse to select the text file that contains the magnetometer readings. We allow some flexibility in the format of the file, but a few simple notations must be followed. There needs to be a single reading per line, and each column must be separated by a delimiter, which can be a comma, semicolon, tab, or space. I will select our AUV survey data and click Open. The top window is the text preview window, which shows the raw text within the file. The bottom window is the import preview window. These windows help us determine the correct import settings so that the file is read correctly. Looking at the text preview, we see that we do have text headers on row 1 and the data starts on row 2. We also see that the delimiters used in this file are semicolons, so we will ensure that all of our settings are correct. And if everything's correct, we should see our header and data correctly displayed in the import preview window. We can now move on to step 2, which is the Map Columns tab. Here, we can take columns in the imported files and map them to data structures that Bob recognizes. In this example, I could either map these manually, or I could select a template if I have a supported system. I am using an IVER AUV with an Explorer magnetometer, so I can select the IVER template. When using a template, you should review the formats to make sure everything is correct. For example, the template has the date set for day, month, year, but in this data set, we can see that the date is formatted as year, month, day. So I will make sure to change this to the correct format. I also want to point out that when setting up your mapping, you can apply filters to any of the data columns. For example, I can go to the magnetic field here and apply the filter. In this data set, we can see that the average magnetic field is around 46,000. So we could set our minimum filter to 30,000 and our maximum to 60,000 just to filter out any data that is erroneous. Using these filters can be very powerful for bringing in good quality data into Bob. We can then select the third tab to adjust the data. This is where we can ensure our time and positioning are defined correctly. In the time sections, we will define the time zone that the data was collected in, as well as the start date of the survey and any time offset we may have. In this case, our survey start date was November 16th, 2017. In the geoposition section, we can define a UTM zone if our data was collected with eastings and northings, but in this case, our data was collected in lat long, so we will not need to define a zone. If there was any offset from the location of the GPS antenna to the sensor, we can define it under layback. In this example, the template defines the layback of 6.1 meters, which is the standard layback between the IVER AUV and the Explorer Mag. So this is already set up, so we can just hit OK. We are now ready to select Import. Upon completion of the import, we will get the option to open the import log. I recommend that you review the import log so you can ensure that there's no issues with the import. In this log, there are some duplicate magnetic field readings due to different sampling rates between the GPS and the magnetometer. This is not an issue that these duplicates were skipped, so we can close this log and click Done. You can see that the survey data was successfully imported into Bob. This data is ready for visualization and processing in BAM, our Bob's Analytics module. To see a data processing workflow in BAM, be sure to check out the Marine Magnetics YouTube channel. If you require any additional help with your survey data, Be sure to check out the Bob Manual on readmagnetics.com, or you can speak with our team by emailing or calling us. Thank you.